Hey gang, Scott here. I've got a quick Lightroom tip for you. I had some questions about color range masks and when do I use a color range mask as opposed to just using HSL. And it does depend on your situation and what colors you're trying to deal with. And I have a photo here that will give a good explanation of why would I reach for HSL and keep it simple versus I need to do a color range mask. So this photo here, what I want to do is I want to add some more greens into the grasses and the weeds and things here around the horse. And the way we would normally do that is by taking the hue of yellow and shifting it more toward green, because there's a lot of greens and yellows. So, I pick the little selector here and say, all right, let me kind of get down in this area and push things more toward green. And now I'm going to push it really far. And you can see it works. It's definitely taking care of getting more greens into the grass. But notice that the yellows and the flowers are also shifting. If I zoom in here and we look at that, we can see that the yellow flowers are being impacted. And I don't want that. And I could try to say, well, then I know there's a lot of greens and yellow, and if I push yellow, I'm getting that same effect by itself. I'm really hitting the flowers more. Green by itself, better, but not quite what I want. And so that's an example of where you go, all right, HSL, a global thing, it's not working for me because it's having more impact to colors outside of what I want to have affected. That's where your color range masks come in. So you go up into the masking area. Let me create a new mask, color range, and I'll just put the picker somewhere down in the grasses here. And I get something like that. Okay, not bad. Refine that, and I'm backing it off, and I'm watching where the yellow flowers are. And you can see if I push it farther and farther, I get less and less of that green. So somewhere in here where these yellow flowers are unaffected, they are not highlighted in red, and other things are. Okay, great. And I don't need anything in the background, so I can subtract with, in this case, a linear gradient will be real easy. Just subtract this stuff out there. So now I'm only affecting the greens that are in the foreground. And now to do my color improvement. In the color area, I have the hue slider. Let me turn off the fine adjustment so you can see this happen very radically. If I push really far, notice that it's those greens in the foreground, the only things that are being affected. Now, pushing this way too far. How I would normally work, we'll put the fine adjustment on, and then I'll push this pointer toward green. And I can be more aggressive with the slider because the fine adjustment is protecting some over exaggerations on my part. So I can push that around there. And then let's see, before that change, after that change, maybe a little bit more. Before and after, using the color range to limit the effect to just those colors I really want to have impacted, and then leveraging the hue slider in the mask area to get that hue shift. So you do have hue, saturation, and luminance by virtue of exposure in your masking areas for specific color ranges using the color range mask. Now, what about a situation of the reverse? I mean, to round this out, the question that was posed is, well, when do I reach for the color range mask and when don't I? Let's use the same photo again. In this case, I want to do something with the blues in the sky. Well, there's not a lot of blue in this photo, right? So we could just hit HSL and say, here's my saturation. I'm up in the blues. Push it up or pull it back. In this case, I want to push it up some. And because there are no other areas with blue, I should take that back a little bit. Let me reset. There's probably a slight impact to the flowers down here, ever so slight, pushing it up. But I don't really see a big negative to that. There may be a slight increase in saturation in a few of the blue tones, but these are more purple than blue. But the point being here, when I have this well-isolated color to just one area of the photo unaffected, HSL is going to be the way to go. It's simple. It's right there. You don't have to involve the masking. The color range masks, like I said, when you need to target more specific hues and protect others, you still want to do a shifting of color or an increase in saturation. I hope you found the video useful. Got questions? Drop them below. And until next time, my name's Scott Davenport. Have fun.